Welcome to the PP1 podcast. It is hot. Absolutely everywhere in BC. Everywhere.
It's not like a Nelly song.
No, it's not.
It's hot.
It's hot. I haven't even listened to that song.
You've never heard?
No, like lately.
Oh, yeah.
Lately we haven't.
It's like 20 years old.
I know, but it seems really, really fitting because no one wants to wear any clothes right now because it's too hot. Like there's not enough ice. There's not enough ice packs.
I begrudgingly put a shirt on to come over here.
I was thinking we could do this like tarps off, and I thought we're not ready for that yet. I don't think anybody's ready for that.
It was so I worked out on the back patio like all day from start to finish. When I went outside it's like 7:30 in the morning. It was like 30 degrees. So I worked out, like I worked back there, like conducted all my meetings and stuff. And so I would just sit out there like with tarps off in the backyard. And then as soon as I had like a client meeting, I would like pop a t-shirt on. And then nobody knew any better. And then it would just come off when the meeting ended.
It's like that car commercial where the guy has a meeting inside of his car. Like, oh, glad you could make it.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, I wouldn't miss it for the world.
Is the one where the guy's like driving with the green screen behind his back? Is that the one? That's also a pretty good one.
That is pretty good. So this is the PP1 podcast, episode 97. We are proudly presented on the Dean Blundell Network. We are partnered with Summer Skates. You can see in the top right corner. Maybe it's your left corner. It's everybody's right corner. Pretty sure. We are in the final week. Yeah, there we go. Look at this. You just don't skip a beat, do you?
It's summer skates are going to come in handy right now, being that it's 109 degrees outside right now for anybody who's listening that's Fahrenheit, and then a solid 43 degrees.
So this is the final week for the PP1 podcast summer skate vote. I am pretty sure last I saw it was tied between the black ones and the white ones. So you guys got to vote.
Well, we can't do both.
Well, we can. We just need you guys to buy them. So minimum 12 pairs, and we can do whatever you like. It's going to be worth it. You'll get a cozy. Have we decided what the proper word is for that yet?
I think it's cozy.
Cozy. So you will get one of those as well with your summer skates.
I feel like a cozy is like a blanket thing.
But I feel cozy.
In a blanket?
In the summer skates with my beer feels cozy. It's nice. I ruined it. I'm sorry. But you know what? You guys got to go vote. We'd appreciate it. It's coming down. July 2nd, we're going to announce the winner, and then we're going to go from there, and we're going to decide what gets made. We also have that really cool prize pack that I showed you guys last week from Beyond the Green. That'll be for our 100th episode. We still haven't quite figured out the configuration for that yet, how much stuff we're going to give away, how big is this prize pack going to be, but it's going to be good. I had some hats designed that they weren't the right ones, but they still looked pretty amazing.
They looked pretty dope, yeah.
It's kind of like a golf hat. It's got like the X logo on there with a little microphone. Yeah, it looks like a golf hat, like a clean golf hat. You could even wear it to not a formal function, but
siesta.
You could wear it to a siesta, I think. Maybe.
Yeah, a bar mitzvah.
Hey, you do you. Doesn't matter. But
it's a consigliere.
I'm not knowing the names of these parties now. It's getting a little bit silly.
Cotillion. I can't remember any more coming of age events,
or just parties in general.
It's a great looking hat. Let's just leave it.
It's nice. There's two nice ones. I left out a story from last week, and I feel bad because I really wanted to get this in.
Is this about you going down Enterprise again?
No, this wasn't on Enterprise this time. This actually was, where was it now? This was on the highway. We're going to run that, show where to follow us. YouTube, we got our YouTube channel. Please subscribe. That'd be great. Twitter, Instagram. So I was on the highway. This was last week. So these are Ryan's car tails. DuckTales. Woo.
It's like the Wayne's World.
So I'm driving behind this semi, some type of I couldn't quite tell, but it had a forklift on the back. Like not a regular forklift, but some type of forklift you need once this.
Are you one of those guys who pronounces it forklift?
Forklift?
Or
forklift?
Lift?
Forklift.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know some of those other guys.
Caramel car. I know some of those other guys. I'm not friends with them anymore. So I see this semi with a forklift on it on the back. And I got to thinking, what if you were in like a high-speed chase, like Fast and Furious style? I haven't seen the new one. And you're driving, and you get the guy, he climbs back on, and he operates the forklift on the back. So he gets the keys, figures it out. Clearly, it's turned off when you see it.
Mm-hmm.
He gets on, and he gets the thing, and he picks up the car, and it's like he can like launch your car towards like on top of another one. It's doable, right?
You're the strangest guy.
But you're feeling this, right?
I guess I'm envisioning. I could see it happening in a Fast and Furious movie.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was going. I don't think this would be a realistic thing because it's like when they go underneath that semi in the very first one and they're driving underneath. No semi.
They also did that in Christmas Vacation, but whatever.
Yeah, but no semi is that high where you can fit even a lowered Honda Civic underneath. I've thought about it too many times. It's impossible.
Did you see that tweet today? I can't remember who it was. Totally dad joked Fast and the Furious franchise. Did you see that? It was really good. It was, if they don't call Fast and the Furious 10 Fast 10 your seatbelts, I'll be furious. And I thought that was so good.
See, I saw that. I had figured you had found that, and it was still very, very clever.
Very fresh, very clever.
I dadded out pretty hard there, and I thought, no, that needs to be the name of it.
I did some serious lolling. It was good.
It was good.
Yeah.
I remember when I told Addison, our oldest, what LOL meant, because she had told a joke or something to, I think like my sister or something like that, and she had laughed, and it was this really, really funny joke. So I told my wife about this, and I said, yeah, and LOL, and then she goes, well, what does LOL mean? She goes, I go, laugh out loud, and she goes, well, I did laugh out loud. So very clever, very clever.
Good. What do we got on the docket today?
So we've got Stanley Cup. We've got a little bit of recap of maybe this.
God, are they still playing hockey?
They're playing hockey. The Stanley Cup. We've got me going camping, so we're going to chat about that and how ridiculous that sounds.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit more Stanley Cup, the actual trophy itself. We are going to talk about the Heat because if it wouldn't be a podcast this week if you weren't talking about the Heat.
The Heat was so bad, in fact, that Brady couldn't make the podcast.
It was that bad. He said,
guys, it's too hot. I can't podcast.
And normally I would say, come on, man. But knowing what's going on, if you don't have AC, I mean, we're in the basement here. This is bunker zone.
It's cool.
It's cool. That's cool. We're going to talk about PD and Hughes. We got our mock draft part 2, which is going to be great. I have my hypothetically speaking segment. You had an issue with this?
Yeah, when you read these things off, it's like, hypothetically speaking, would you rather?
So you're thinking it's more.
And I'm pretty sure what you're actually doing is called a would you rather. You get to pick one or the other.
But I like my name better.
It's the classic, would you rather, hypothetically speaking, would you rather eat chocolate pudding that was flavored like poo, or poo that was flavored like chocolate pudding?
You're eating poo.
Right, you're eating poo, but it tastes like chocolate pudding.
The texture.
And the other one, you're eating pudding, but it tastes like poo.
That's tough.
Hypothetically speaking.
Oh, man. I think... Because I think you're barfing either way.
Probably, yeah.
So I think the fact that it would taste like I would have to eat the poo.
Yeah. What?
Yeah.
No, the answer is easy. It's still going to do poo things to you if you're eating feces. You have to eat the. You have to eat the pudding because it's actually pudding. It doesn't matter if it tastes like shit. It's pudding.
But if it,
this is your thing. That's the wrong answer though.
This went horribly wrong. This went right off the rails.
God, you would rather eat shit. Your teeth.
No. You eat pieces of shit for breakfast?
Yeah.
No.
Grizzly Adams did have a beard.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so the Stanley Cup began. Montreal is in the Stanley Cup. Alex Burrows is still 4 wins away from a Stanley Cup. So is Tyler Toffoli.
Love it.
Which means that Tampa has already won. They actually spanked Montreal 5-1. It wasn't pretty. I didn't even see it. I think I was outside in the heat. I think that's what I was doing.
It was a whipping.
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah.
It was bad. So it's still a series. Game 2's tomorrow when you listen to this. So game 2 would be today if you're listening on a Wednesday. Maybe you're hardcore and you're listening on Tuesday.
I think it's pronounced Wednesday. Actually.
Wednesday. I hate the English language sucks. February, library,
rural,
schedule, rural, the rural juror.
Rural. You know, the other worst word in the English language has got to be like
there.
Duotang.
You think?
Like, what's the point of this thing here? Like, it binds papers together. I'm going to call it a binder. What about this one here? It's made of paper, but it also binds papers together. Let's call it a duotang. Makes no sense.
And yet it's infamous.
Yeah.
It
Go
rests in our history. So not much to chat about the actual Stanley Cup. Basically, it's happening. It's going on. But I saw a tweet yesterday from, I think it was NHL History Girl. And the Stanley Cup, for a time, was actually 2 pieces. There was the bowl itself was detachable. So you saw some guys celebrating over there with the top of the cup, a couple guys over there with like the barrel, if you will.
Okay.
And I just think, what's the better version? Is it the 2 pieces, or would it be the one and please don't break it?
It's the one.
You think so?
Right? It's oh man, if we win the Stanley Cups,
yeah,
I can't win those I can't wait to win those trophies.
But like you've seen,
but it's the championship trophy. It's the one trophy. It's the biggest one.
We've seen
of all the trophies. It's a spectacle compared to every other major sports.
We saw the Grey Cup break. We've seen the Memorial Cup break.
Yeah, they've broken it. But I mean, you've seen the pictures of the skinny Stanley Cup too, right? Like there's been variations. Yeah. The big cup is the cup.
I mean, that's what
I don't want 2 cups.
You can wear it on your head.
Yeah, but that's just dumb.
People piss in it.
Well, you eat poo flavored like pudding, so whatever.
I just figure,
people don't forget.
People don't forget. I just figure because.
No, man.
This is gonna haunt me.
No,
this is gonna be that one. Hey, remember 10 years ago when you said you'd eat shit?
Mm-hmm.
Like voluntarily, you made a conscious decision that you thought.
And somehow I made that shit taste like pudding.
And that's yeah.
I
don't know. I don't know if I could ever live something like that down.
Like what you said earlier?
What I just said. I think now that I've said it out loud.
Well, now it's on the internet. You're screwed.
I can backtrack. I mean, I could just edit that out, but technically it's
I
live.
would be curious what anybody else would have to say if they're commenting.
It's actually disgusting. So yeah, I'm going to probably have to live with that. Something that I saw as well, Braden Holtby rumors. To the Bruins?
I'm always down for Braden Holtby rumors. I'm so down for $4.3 million backup goaltender rumors.
To the Bruins?
Where? I don't care. Wherever.
But just interesting.
It does seem kind of strange that they would send him to.
So who do we get
to
back?
Boston?
Who do the Canucks get back out of that? Because they're having to offload somebody.
A song, bag of pucks.
Like a 7th round draft.
Like, I think if you're Boston,
a player to be named later.
Yeah, like I don't know how much perceived value a Braden Holtby has, but hopefully you get a serviceable NHL player. Maybe somebody sitting in the bottom 6 would be nice. Somebody that you could use on your NHL roster, because we're lacking some of those players right now.
We are lacking NHL players on this team, which has been a normality for the Vancouver Canucks. I'm just looking over this roster right now.
It could be a salary dump too. Like I don't know what the rumors are. I haven't read this this rumor, so I don't know what it is, but it could be some form of a salary dump too. Like maybe they're getting rid of an older sort of aging player with a decent salary sitting around 2 or something like that. But then we save 2.4 by moving, or 2.3 by moving Holtby. So,
or maybe they take John Moore's on IR. I don't know what his injury is. Just like
I mean, it makes sense what Boston's doing if they're replacing Yaroslav Halak with a Braden Holtby. You're getting a younger version of that. Somebody who's probably not starter material anymore, but can take over in fits and stretch. And Tuukka's getting older. He's like 34 years old, and Garo's older than that.
It's crazy to think.
So remember when people were talking about, the Habs got to trade Carey Price because Halak had that GOAT season. It was great.
It was a GOAT season.
It was, but I mean, you're also talking about the premier goaltending prospect that hurt himself, and people wanted to just walk on him.
I can't.
Now he's in the Cup final.
it blew my mind that people actually did want to trade Carey
It was
Price.
silly talk. It's bears on bicycles. So silly.
Have you seen a bear on bicycle?
Well, I think they do that shit in Russia. It's weird over there.
So maybe in Russia that trade happens. Maybe.
And they've done stuff like that with goaltenders in the past, right? They've had like the Anton Khudobins, and they've had those guys to sort of take over for Tuukka when he needs a little bit of a break. And maybe as Tuukka gets older, maybe they need a guy that can play, upwards of 40% of the games or something like that. And maybe Holtby fits back out east, right?
So Holtby, I mean, basically moves his life, goes to Vancouver, right?
Yeah. Whoops.
And his turtle's plural.
Turtle.
And then he goes back. So he's learned basically a new system underneath Ian Clark. He's tried to change the way he has to operate, basically, right?
Yeah. Plus, they speak a completely different language out in Boston. I can understand those guys.
It's wicked awesome. So you do all that, and then you go over to Boston and have to adjust again, or do you just play your old game at that point? Like, is there another adjustment, or would he be fine?
I mean, I guess it depends on what the goaltending coach out there says, but he says
wicked pissa. That was a wicked pissa.
That's a wicked pissa. So if you're Braden Holtby, you're probably saying like, I'll go back to what I know best, but there's some things that I picked up from Ian Clark that I'm going to incorporate in my new game. And those guys are probably continuing to evolve, right?
Yeah.
Whether or not they're evolving and able to keep up,
right,
or not is a different story. But
right. Okay.
There's a lot of muscle memory for those guys. He's still a pro. He's still like a good goaltender. He's just not a $4.3 million goaltender.
That's fair.
I don't even know if I'm looking that cap number up. I'm not
it's
sure
a lot
if
of
that's
money.
Correct, but he's making 4+ for a backup,
which is too much
for a backup.
I think it's interesting. I just can't believe that they didn't believe more in Thatcher Demko to be like, hey, we need to go sign a lot of money to a position that we should have trusted more in.
Yeah, I don't know how much Ian Clark was of those conversations, right?
Probably wasn't a lot. You got to think.
Maybe Ian's the guy that knows.
Yeah.
I can't believe that you guys had that much faith in Braden Holtby.
I did actually, didn't I?
Yeah, you guys were all in on that.
There was more to believe. Maybe that was my Louis Eriksson belief. I
got some dumpy for calling out Braden Holtby. Yeah, he's won cups, blah blah blah. Like
he has one,
and he has won cups. But we're paying him for all the stuff he did, not the stuff that he was going to do,
which we did with Louis Eriksson.
And we've done that with a bunch of guys on this roster, and it just looked like another one of those signings.
And it was. So I will eat that.
Yeah, I'll bring it up from time to time. It's not like a big deal.
Like a chocolate flavored poop.
Yeah, no. That's a whole nother level.
So speaking of
you picked the wrong answer.
Speaking of ridiculousness. So I'm going camping this weekend.
Did you ever watch that show Ridiculousness?
No.
With Rob Dyrdek?
No.
It was like you remember Rob Dyrdek,
yeah,
right?
Yeah,
so it was after Robin Big.
Right.
He had this show where they sort of would just go over YouTube videos.
But I didn't even really watch Rob. I saw like one episode of Robin Big. So that's
the Fantasy Factory.
I saw maybe an episode or
Big
two.
Cat.
No.
He's the guy. I think it's Big Cat, like his cousin or something like that. He's the guy that created Young and Reckless. That you see.
Right. Yeah. No, I know the brand and I know the story. I just didn't really watch.
And Rob is the guy that invented. No, it's not. He's not the guy that invented DC. He just is a DC guy.
That would be a pretty big move on his part. He's the guy that created a Colossal shoe brand. So I'm going camping this weekend. We're going out to Okanagan South. We try to get there like once a year, mainly because you can't book it more than once a year because you can't get a campsite in BC to save your life.
It's crazy. Like when you log on
every morning, 7 a.m.
They tell you 7 a.m. book your, and it's like you were trying to get like Beyonce tickets.
Mm-hmm.
Like
it's like trying to get your kid into a school that's overbooked.
Yeah, like you see it hit 7 o'clock, you start pounding that enter button.
Yeah.
And it's like everything's booked up. It's gone. You can't even get in. The whole thing's like the site's crashing.
So you always have to be checking. Always be checking. ABC. Instead of always be closing, it's always be checking. It works.
Coffee's for closers.
Coffee is for closers. Spaghetti's for champions. I heard that somewhere too. So I know that for a fact that we actually have 2 actual meals purchased. And I have to purchase actually another one tomorrow. I have to buy some steaks before we leave. So we've done that. And then after thinking about it and going through the receipt last night of just your incidentals for camping, about $120 worth of absolute garbage.
It's crazy when you load up and you do camping shopping, like how much money you spend.
But it's of nothing.
It's nothing. Like,
and you know what else they need to do?
Box in cereals, Mr. Noodle cups,
just stuff. Like I looked and I thought, there's nothing here. Nothing.
So I have like did you get some stuff for Toasties?
I forgot the Toasties.
There's another cool trick.
Okay,
and maybe other people know this. So you get, the big garlic sausage ring?
Yeah.
So you get the garlic sausage ring. You take a knife and you start.
Wait, what was it again? Can you do that?
Garlic sausage ring.
There we go.
And you start to carve a spiral around the whole thing.
Okay.
After you peel it, and then you put that on the barbecue, and then it splays out like the potatoes.
Or what's that bread called?
Yeah, I don't know.
The one with all the cuts in it.
No. So you one continuous cut.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Or you can do cuts on the top, cuts on the bottom.
Sure.
When it cooks, it sort of splays out, and then you basically just rip off these chunks of toasted garlic sausage, and it's a snack at night. It's amazing.
You're something.
I give it a try.
How do you know these things?
Oh, my buddy, I went camping with my buddy John, and he did that, and I was like, what the hell was this?
Next thing you know, you bought it.
Now we get garlic sausage on every camping trip.
So do you guys do s'mores?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think it's a dumb question because some people don't.
No, yeah, s'mores with the white chocolate cookie crumble.
Okay.
From, I can't remember, Hershey, I guess it is.
Okay, yeah.
Like we do peanut butter cups, caramel.
Done, yes.
Like you can get the Reese, Reese bars now that are really good.
Right.
And I like to do score bars.
Interesting.
So that it melts the chocolate and then there's the crunchy toffee on the inside.
Right.
That's I like that one.
So we've done, the celebration cookie. So there's chocolate on the top.
That's so smart. Yeah.
So we do that and then have whatever. So
I just like celebration cookies anyways.
They're pretty good.
Yeah.
In a pinch, you're like, celebration cookies. Come on. How many s'mores would you say you eat? Like if you're camping, realistically, how many are you going to eat? Like, do you have maybe one or two and you're like, okay, I'm good.
So like if I'm really vibing and it's not too hot.
9 out of 10 times, what would be your answer?
9 out of 10 times, I'm like borderline going to have one. I almost enjoy cooking s'mores more than I do.
So do I. So that's my thing. That's my dad thing, right? I've loved doing that even before I was a dad.
Yeah, because the kids are so fascinated with you. They're like, oh, daddy's cooking s'mores. Like he's got.
And you got to
tell their friends like he's got skills for s'mores. Like you just let you cook the s'mores, and then
don't
everybody
burn it.
wants to cook the
no,
s'mores.
I get a perfect brown on there. Get nice a little bit crisp, not too.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. You've got a family of 4. I've got a family of 4. If we're sitting there, realistically,
they're so selfish.
So we all get one. We make one. We make one each, right? And then maybe, a couple of the younger kids might want a second one. There might be the odd third one.
Mm-hmm.
You've got supplies if you need them. Realistically, that's like what, 12?
Max.
How often do you use marshmallows in general?
Like we use it in cooking, like for baking.
A lot though?
Like so often that throughout the summer we need to buy new bags of marshmallows.
Okay. So in our case, we don't really do the Rice Krispie squares as much, which we really should be. So I'm going to bring that up to my wife when we get back.
Yeah, that's what you just say. Hey, Christine, more Rice Krispie squares.
Yeah.
That'll go over well.
It will.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully it does because they're yummy. But really, how many marshmallows would you go through on, in a buy when you buy a bag? Not that many.
I just don't eat. That was a kid thing. I don't eat marshmallows.
But even as a kid, like they check out after one.
No, they don't. Like my youngest daughter, she'll take the bag and go.
No kidding.
Just buy.
Because I'm thinking it's a waste to have like the 30 in the bag or more.
Yeah, well, because they get sticky and they gross.
And then if heaven forbid you get a little bit of air, they all get into like rock hard pellets.
Yeah, so I've done the thing where the bottom of the bag is just all stuck together marshmallows, and I've just cooked the whole thing. Okay,
that works too.
Yeah.
I wonder, like they should have like a s'mores pack. I know you can buy the box of s'mores, the whole kit, but what if they made like little like to-go bags of marshmallows? Then you don't have to commit.
Yeah, half bags of marshmallows.
It probably costs the same, but you know what? I would be willing to spend the same amount of money for the right amount of marshmallows, because at the end of the day, I hate waste. I hate like you go through your fridge and there's all the odd thing that's kind of sits there and you kind of forget about it, or maybe a leftover, or there's a cheese you didn't quite use the end of, like random stuff. It just kind of sits in there, or that pickles that hasn't really been finished in a while.
Yeah. So
it drives me crazy.
I have a real problem. I know that this is a Canucks podcast, but we're reaching in the summer, right? So like, I don't know if we've lost everybody
it's
now.
Hot.
I guess
We're
it doesn't
gone
matter
crazy
at this point.
Yeah.
But I have a real problem with this, right? Like Christy, my wife, is if it's hit the expiry date, it's gone.
Oh, no messing around.
It's like, it's good. It's gone. It's dead.
Okay. So milk.
No, milk's bad when it's bad.
What?
Milk's bad when it's bad. Does it taste bad? No. Then it's still good.
There you go.
Yeah. So we like, I'll have stuff set aside that I'm gonna go eat that pizza. Oh, that pizza was from 2 days ago. I threw it out. Why did you throw it out? Like, I get like mad about this stuff, right? Like every time I go to, because she's like constantly cleaning up the fridge. It's great because she's so tidy, but like every once in a while, like just leave the leftovers alone, That's my beef.
See, and now we go back to this conversation that we had probably a month or two ago when you got your groceries delivered, and we talked about like, because you're the willy-nilly, right? You're the guy that will go in, or no, you're the regimented one.
No, I'm regimented.
Yeah,
we have a meal plan. You stick to the meal plan.
Yeah, so you and Christine and
like you can even do it like this many macros.
Yeah,
Christy is like Christine, because we married Christines. That's a weird thing that people probably don't know.
Yeah,
she will just like I go down the aisle, like, I think we're out of this. We need that. Like, pretty sure we need this one here, that one there. Well, that would be tasty. And it's like she goes shopping on an empty stomach. I think I could say this. I'll give you a high five.
I was reaching up that
I can say this because she doesn't listen to the podcast. I know she doesn't. It's fine.
It's good,
and I love her to death. But we shop differently, her and I.
Yeah, but we had this conversation
because I'm pretty when I shop, I give her fits.
Yeah, it drives me nuts. I like to just freewheel in there because I get done quicker.
Just get done.
I just know stuff, and then I get it. Yeah, I'm gonna miss.
I don't like going to a grocery store where I don't know the aisles, but
yeah, that's fair. So let's get back to it. One more thing, and we'll get to the Canucks stuff. So everybody's booking hotel rooms right now in the Lower Mainland. Brady, that'd be a smart idea, by the way.
Something with AC, bud.
Anything with AC. Here's the thing. It is so hot right now that like AC isn't standard. My air conditioner needs an air conditioner. That is how hot it is right now. Like, it's like, no, I need backup. We got to send in the reinforcements. It's absolutely crazy. Like, we're downstairs, and I might take off my hat because it's too hot. It's too hot. I'm gonna do it. It's done. I have messy hair. I don't care. I don't even care. So let's talk about Canucks.
It's so hot. I shaved my head today.
That's smart. I'm gonna have to do that.
I had my 10-year-old shave my head.
That's trust.
And then I had my wife come touch it up.
Back up.
That's a little backup.
So Canucks. This is the Canucks podcast. We've egged you on long enough. Pettersson and Hughes contracts, they're coming up. Sounds like it's getting hot and heavy. There is talk that I guess the Makar camp, the Hughes camp, who was the other guy? Was it Heiskanen? Mm-hmm. They're all looking because Shabbat got his big deal.
Shabbat's so good.
And yet they all feel that better than which they are.
They are.
So
what was Shabbat's deal again?
I think he got like a 6 or let me see here.
No, Petey's worth more.
No, Makar or Hughes, I'm saying. So let's go through. I'm going to find them. So basically, on the defensive side, you've got that core. All the guys that were fighting for.
God, that was such a good draft for D-Man.
Oh, it was phenomenal. It was phenomenal. You couldn't go any one of those guys. We're happy with the guy we have. It would have been great to have Kale Makar.
You can look at that draft, and it's very possible that you could see 3 guys end up in the Hall.
Probably. I think that's safe to say. And then you look over on the forward side with Pettersson. Here we go. So he signed, oh my goodness.
$8 million.
Was it an 8x8? Was it? And it was an 8-8. So Okay, so now we're educated. 8x8. Based on that, what does Quinn Hughes get?
I at least that.
At least, right? Like 9 for sure.
Yeah, like Chabot is better defensively. Chabot might round out to be one of the best all-round defenders in the league, and he's got that over Hughes.
Right, that's fair.
But only so many defensemen in the league can put up 75 points and still handle themselves defensively as well.
Would you say he's like a 10?
Think old school Carlson. Think old school PK Subban. Without that like energy level, but he does it with like a level of smoothness.
So like 3 years, would you say like 3 years, 10 mil per year?
No. The rumors coming out of that camp is that Hughes wants a long-term deal.
Right.
Like they're talking like 7-year deal.
Whoa.
So 7 years.
7-9.
8.
You think straight across he gets 8?
I think so.
You think he's on par with that?
Do you know Jimbo to be able to negotiate contracts?
Well, now he's got the Sedins. And Wiserod's like, you know what I saw on the internet?
Oh, man.
Back when I was with Orlando.
There's always this like, and the shitty thing is, right, is like, it's not like the Sens are known for constructing amazing contracts and having shrewd negotiations and building ridiculous teams on hometown discounts, right?
But they get some decent pickups.
So
decent draft picks.
So the Canucks are now on that same road that the Senators are because they're in the same position because they're just as shitty of a team.
They are.
They're probably going to have to match that or better it.
That's a tough one.
So Chabot's probably making a little bit more money than he probably deserves to be making.
And he's got a modified no trade.
Modified NTC. Quinn is in that wheelhouse. But at the end of the day, if you're telling me that Chabot's going to be at a similar playing level in his age 28, 29 season, making $8 million a year, I'm okay with that.
I think that's going to work out. I guess the other thing too is
Ottawa did the right thing.
They've got right now they have a more well-rounded defenseman.
Yeah.
And I think that's where your bargain. So if you're the Canucks and you're playing hardball, which you got to be very, very careful. But you go in with Quinn, and Quinn
it's
Hughes,
Pat Brisson, right? That's his agent.
Quinn Hughes is smart. Like that camp is smart too. They know that Quinn isn't quite elite yet. He's on the precipice of being that, but he needs to improve his defensive. He's a defenseman. He needs to improve his defensive game. His offensive game is off the charts.
Yeah, they're going to end up paying him for what he's done and what he's going to do. Just like the Sens did with Chabot. And the Sens were right in the way that they handled Erik Karlsson similarly, right?
Right.
Karlsson, 75-point player, eerily similar to what Hughes does. Pays him the big contract. At the end of the big contract in his age, 28, 29 season.
Yeah.
They get a huge haul for him, let him walk, and he's not the same player that he was when he was in Ottawa.
He's been injured a lot too.
It's not the same though.
No.
So there is just... It's regression happens around your age 28, 29 season. So if these guys sign into this, that's why Quinn would be smart to be like, I want to only sign until my age 27, 28 season. And then he's got he's going to be still firing on all cylinders when he signs his next contract, right?
Right. So then with PD, that one sounds like it's going to be a little bit less though.
PD wants a short-term deal.
Yeah. Interesting.
He's going for that bridge contract. And I'll just stick to the
But that's smart, I think, for him because he knows that I think of the two, he's probably the guy that's going to cash out on the second deal.
Well, could you imagine what you're going to have to pay PD after year 4? Like, what do we have to pay PD after this year? And he's not even in his prime yet. No. What does 25-year-old PD could be a fucking monster?
Realistically,
and they're gonna have to pay the man
if he gets back onto the progression that to have before the injury. He kind of goes maybe not the Brock route, but as far as the injuries and everything, but comes back because he's a pretty smart player. He's a pretty tough player for a guy that looks frail. He's pretty strong,
and I love that he's kind of a shithead,
and he is.
Yeah.
So he's aware of what his brand ability is, and the off ice stuff. But if he gets right back to where he was when just before he was injured, Like, yeah, that is a scary player.
Yeah, they're laughing, right? Like, so if the Canucks sign Hughes, we'll just use the Shabbat contract to an $8 million contract. You have cost certainty moving into those final 3-4 years. You're making some back.
Sure.
Right. If they do the same thing with Petey, they're obviously would be in good shape and would be well advised to do something like that. But the bridge contract, and I'll go back to the Carlson thing, because PK Subban did a similar thing in Montreal.
Right.
He bridged, I can't remember, it was like 4 or 5 million or something like that.
Yeah.
And then he cashed in, because at that point he was like a 26, 27-year-old defenseman. Correct me if I'm wrong on the age.
This is the contract.
And made the big money. Like, when you have to pay a guy when he's entering or in the prime of his career, after he's put up monster seasons, like, if you're Petey, you couldn't position yourself better.
I think it's smart.
Yeah. But I mean, if I'm the Canucks, I need to lock that in.
And I think you're hoping that you get, it's kind of a double-edged sword in a good way. You're hoping that he produces because you want to pay him more. Because if you're paying him more on that second deal, or on the third deal, technically, he's clearly earned it for himself and for the team.
Oh, but like, I don't agree with that.
You don't. So you'd rather just eat up those extra.
I don't. Okay, so a good example of that is if you go all the way back to when Alex Burrows finally cashed in on his big deal. How old was he?
Oh boy, well, he was older when he got there.
He was like 27,
I think.
I think he's 28 or something like that. 28, 29.
Yeah.
So we were like, "Hey, Burr, thanks for all your hard work. You're going to get rewarded for what you've done."
And then he was a bargain.
And then he just regressed after that. He was a bargain all those years, taking a hometown discount, where he probably should have made more during those years. And then it doesn't really work like that in the rest of the NHL, where you're paying guys for what they've done. Braden Holtby. We should be paying guys for what they're gonna do. And you have to be able to bank on your players. Like, if Jim was the guy that scouted this dude and found and lays claim and stakes claim to him, then you should know what you have at that point. So you should be banking on your guys for long term, right?
That's fair.
And I know a lot of that has to do with the agents. They might not have a choice, but a bridge contract is something I personally would avoid. I would go long term.
I think Petey would be okay with a bridge.
Damn right he'd be okay with a bridge, because if as a player you're betting on yourself at that point, right?
And I mean, if you pick 3 guys on that team, he's one of them.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's 2 guys on that team.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying you could pick 3, but you know what you're getting out of Quinn. You know there's a deal.
Yeah.
You kind of know where you think it's going to go.
There's 2. The Canucks are lucky enough to have 2 cornerstone players.
Maybe 3.
Got to lock that up.
Wouldn't that be nice if Brock became the third one?
I just don't think he is. I think he's a really good player.
Just not a cornerstone. Okay. How about Demko? Although he made his money.
He's a goalie.
Yeah. That's fair.
He's a goalie.
That's fair.
Right? I mean,
so are we going to do, because this, I think
you can win a Stanley Cup with Antti Niemi.
Yeah, that sucks. That's true. Okay, let's get into my version of hypothetically speaking, and we can finish out with the mock draft.
Okay.
Because surprisingly, we're already at a whopping 38 minutes. Unreal. Where does the time go? Okay, 2 quick ones. These are fun. Dun, 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 hypothetically speaking, or would you rather? I don't care what you call it. It's my segment, so screw you. Would you rather sit at a desk all day with an uncomfortable wedgie, or would you rather have a popcorn kernel stuck in 2 of your teeth and it takes you until bedtime to get out?
So for me, this is a pretty easy one. I wouldn't even do it for 1 popcorn kernel, let alone 2. I would way rather have a wedgie. That shit is terrible.
Because
it's up in there and it's just fucking annoying. You can pick a wedgie whenever you want, but you might not get that popcorn kernel out at the end of the night. And honestly, women have proven that you can walk around with a wedgie all day and they're just fine. They're just fine.
That's true.
We think they're fine. So yeah, it's proven that walking around with the wedgie is no big deal.
That is I don't even.
I'm like getting anxiety thinking I have popcorn stuck in my teeth right now.
So 1, but 2 would probably put you over the edge.
That would be it. That would be it. Drive me to the nut house.
Wow. Of all the things, I struck a nerve.
Yeah, no, get out.
Huh. Interesting. Okay. And last one. You have to hear, where am I here? You have to hear one of these songs at least twice a day for the rest of your life. Between Truly Madly Deeply by Savage Garden.
The other one.
I can't even say it. Or Friday by Rebecca Black.
Oh, that's also okay. So, funny story about Friday by Rebecca Black.
Oh, man. The fact that you went the other one and I hadn't even said that's equally awful.
So, where I work at Acromedia. They, pretty busy, lively office, 50 plus people in there. And you have control over the jukebox, right? We have a jukebox that runs over the office stereo system, right?
So Sonos.
Anybody can log on and anybody can just play off YouTube or whatever you're playing off of. And every once in a while we get into sort of stereo wars where somebody's stopping somebody else's music to play something else. It goes back and forth.
Like a locker room.
But without interruption, every Friday at around 11:30, Rebecca Black, It's Friday comes along. And everybody is happy to hear it because it's Friday. So now, because we haven't been in the office for a year and a half, I play this for the girls on Fridays. And at first they were like, "What the fuck, Dad?" But now they're actually really cool about it. They think it's great. Like I put Rebecca Black on and they're like, "Hey, this is lame, but it is Friday." So it's lucky that you picked Rebecca Black, It's Friday, because Truly Madly Deeply, I'm way over that. It was overplayed in grade 12.
It was overplayed.
Yeah.
I mean,
no, thank you.
It was no Chicka Cherry Cola.
No Savage Garden. That song's just as bad.
It was a good music video.
Yeah.
I remember the music video. It's pretty good. Yeah, they were different. And the CD, did you have the CD?
I did not have the CD.
It was orange.
No, I didn't have it.
It was orange. Shout out Savage Garden. I don't know what you're doing now. Judging Australia's Got Talent, maybe. Okay. Part 2. We're going to finish out strong. Part 2. Time out.
Could we take a time out real quick?
I guess we could. Yeah. I suppose we can. How do we do this?
I'll just be so fast. You can just...
All right. Well, we can figure this out. Ted's going to run to his truck. So if you guys remember last week, we went, I think, from 30 to 20, I think. And I didn't keep track of anything. Ted had everything tracked down for our mock draft. Again, I'm going in totally blind. I have no idea who any of these guys are except for like the top 2, I think. Like Owen Power. I know that the Canucks have a shot at getting Luke Hughes. Realistically, they're not going to get him, even though that'd be pretty awesome. So we've got that. And then we'll finish off next week, which would be episode 98. And we'll finish off with, obviously, our top 10. And I don't know. There's no real winner here because, quite frankly, it's a mock draft. Everything just goes out the door as soon as the draft starts. We've seen it. Perfect example. Canucks get Elias Pettersson. Canucks get Quinn Hughes. Even Vasily Podkolzin. How does he get to 10? The only thing is because he's a Russian. Doesn't make sense to me. But that's, I guess, why we do it. I'm more of like an NFL mock draft kind of guy, and that's probably more on the fantasy side of things. Because again, how do you guys know all these players? How do you know? There's way too many players to know. So the fact that people get excited and want to do a mock draft, it just blows my mind. And I said this last week. Like, how do you know all these guys? Like, how do you have a decent understanding of these players? Just fill me in on that.
Like, I don't know all the guys,
but enough. That's what I'm saying. Like, how that you get into it and you have like a fair understanding of who these guys are.
I think it's like,
do you watch clips?
We watch some clips and try to dig up what you can. Some of these guys don't have information on them, so you're going back to their previous junior season. Some of it's you're reading scouting reports. Everybody's got a different scouting report, so it's interesting to see who's saying what about a particular person. Some of these guys completely contradict each other.
Right.
So it's like, so you go through 10 scouting reports. You're trying to pull 7 of these guys say he's a good skater. The other 3 say he's a bad skater. Right. So
okay.
You try to pull what information you can out of before you decide, what you're going to say.
Okay. So I can't remember. Who did we leave off with? Was it?
I
We could just go from Winnipeg.
I think it was Winnipeg. It might have been Winnipeg, so it might have been Nashville. So maybe it might be best to start with Winnipeg.
Okay. So the Winnipeg Jets, their pick number, is it 17?
17.
How do I feel that we got to something screwed up here? But I don't remember picking St. Louis. I do remember Nashville, though. The Oilers, Nashville, maybe the Jets. So we'll do the Jets again, and then we'll just go up from there.
Okay, because if not, then it's a recap.
To the 11th. We'll do the 11th pick. So
I think we did the Jets, but that's okay.
If we did the Jets, then let's move on.
So Zachary Bolduc was my pick for the Jets.
And I don't remember who I picked, so we're going to go with...
Quick skater in the queue, counterattack guy.
Have I picked Zach Dean yet?
I don't think Zach Dean has been picked by anybody
yet. You get a center out of the queue out of Gatineau. Again, I'm going back to On the Forecheck, which is a Nashville Predators based SB Nation blog. Zach Dean, good pace player who can be a pest on the forecheck. I like this guy already. I think that's a smart move for Winnipeg. Maybe he's the next Mark Scheifele. What if you heard that? 5 years? 5 years?
Yeah, you could be the next Mark Scheifele, or you could be the next Matt Pumple.
I don't know who that is, and that's
they thought that Pumple was going to be awesome.
What year was Pumple?
I'd say he's like probably 3 years before Scheifele.
Oh man!
And then they got Scheifele, and he was everything that they thought Pumple was going to be.
Scheifele didn't do anything for me in fantasy.
Who is that guy?
I don't know.
He's pretty.
So they say his skating mechanics are good. His foot speed's average, slightly above average, good speed and angles when forechecking. So basically, it sounds like the guy's got a good head on his shoulders. He's going to be, based on that, if I were just to look at that little block of writing there, he sounds like, with time and development, a pretty solid NHLer.
Yeah, he's probably a guy who's got a lower NHL floor, a higher NHL floor and a lower NHL season.
Yeah.
And those guys populate rosters all over the NHL. So if you're drafting a guy that's going to play for your big club one day, that's probably a good sign.
He's going to be the principal. That's going to be his nickname.
But he could also just be a guy.
He might be. Maybe one day maybe the Canucks will take him. Wouldn't that be
maybe. The Canucks have drafted some guys, right? Brendan Gaunce was a perfect example.
Daniel Rahimi, Patrick White.
Yeah, well, Pat White, but Rahimi wasn't a first rounder, right?
It doesn't matter. They still drafted him.
Yeah.
So anyway, there's our pick. So
Jordan Schrader.
But that was a good pick at the time.
I mean, I like the idea that we're going with a small offensive guy, and he might have been a better player. He was the Team USA's all-time leader, all-time point guard.
Maybe he was just in the wrong era.
Surpassed some guy named Jeremy Roenick.
Good old JR. Maybe he's just in the wrong era.
Could be.
We've got a dog sighting. Hey, Rocket. Okay, so we're going to get into the St. Louis Blues.
Yeah, I had St. Louis picking Corson Ceulemans.
And we're on the 16th pick here. Okay.
Yeah. He's an Alberta JHL guy.
Yeah.
Playing for Brooks. We all know that defenseman that came out of Brooks a couple of years back, Cale Makar.
He was good.
Pretty good hockey player.
Worked out.
But he looks... He does the same sort of things that Makar did in Brooks as well, and in the AJHL, which is a similar league to like the BCHL, right? So if you're looking for a comparison in terms of like quality of play, but he is a bit of a roamer, and he's obviously not likely to be the next Cale Makar, but he is a good serviceable offensive defenseman that can wheel, and he's probably one of the most offensively gifted D-men in this draft, which is full of them. There's a bunch of good offensive defenders that have like sort of not rusty, but like not refined games.
Gotcha. Okay.
So the only thing that they worry about, I think, with him is that roamer style might not translate in the NHL, because although Makar and a guy like Hughes seems like they roam,
that doesn't necessarily translate to the NHL.
They actually play within a structure and a set, right? So they look like they're just doing the lone wolf thing out there, but they're actually not. Like they're part of a system. So I like the guy. It also helps that he's like a fairly big dude where he's already talking about like 6'2", 200 pounds. He's still a young guy. And to boot, he's a right-hand shot, which most power plays can use a right-hand shot, especially from an offensive defender. You see very average offensive defenders end up on the power play just because they're a right-handed shot. This guy's better than that.
I like that. I'm also going with the defenseman from the Czech League, from HC Kometa Brno. Stanislav
Svozil.
He's mature. He's a mature player who understands.
Sometimes he doesn't mature.
Sometimes he's mature. Crossover steps are swift, but skating form is interesting. I don't know. He handles the puck well and can muscle off forecheckers. Sometimes make silly decisions in transition. Hey, who doesn't? Does move very well along the blue line. So he's basically the Brent Sopel of this draft. He holds the line well. So I like that. Position when fighting opponents in front of the net. Or needs to establish. So he's got some work, but again, maybe they got something in this guy.
Yeah, I've looked at Svozil before. He kind of reminds me of like Lucas Krajicek. If Lucas Krajicek had put it all together and became a serviceable player for a period of time.
But
right?
an NHL defender all the same.
There
you go. Who's next? Pick number 15.
New York Rangers.
Oh, boy. So I'm just trying to see who may be available at that point. I'm going to go with... Did I pick Oscar Olausson? The winger from the SHL.
I don't think you've taken Oscar Olausson.
HV71. So
do you know what HV71 stands for?
Does it have to do with?
Oh,
I don't know.
Rocket
might tell us. Do you know? What is it?
HV71 is HV is Husqvarna.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, like the chainsaw brand.
No kidding.
Yeah, there you go. Fun fact.
So,
and if I'm wrong on that, then please crucify me. But I'm pretty sure that's correct.
I think that's pretty harsh to go that far. He's a good shooter from distance, doesn't rely too much on just his wrist shot. He navigates net front real estate, so he goes into the high danger areas basically. So a winger, his crossover steps slow down his acceleration, but he can be fixed. Again, a lot of these guys I find, it's pretty rare that you find like absolutely crisp, smooth skating players. Everybody has to work on some of their skating to a degree. Bo Horvat had that, I think, to a degree. Even Quinn Hughes, as great as his edges are, he can improve as well. So that's something you improve once you get into the NHL.
I agree. And then you have guys on the opposite end of things that really can skate and really can wheel, but they're needing assistance in the rest of their game, right?
Exactly.
So anything that you find, I feel like in this draft specifically, outside of the top 10, all these guys are going to have warts. All these guys are going to need coaching.
Right. Okay. So that's my pick. Who did you have the Rangers going after?
I have the Rangers selecting out of St. Petersburg. SKA.
That's Russia.
Yeah. Nikita Cherbakov.
Interesting.
Yeah. So again, we're talking about skating.
He's a little bit further down my
what, like 2 picks?
Yeah.
This guy is a phenomenal skater already. So that's something they're going to get their hands on for a guy who doesn't need help. Right. Who already has extremely strong skating mechanics. And if you can improve on that even more, then maybe you're looking at a guy who can just absolutely burn. That being said, he seems like he might be more of a checker.
Okay.
So super high work rate, probably a little more offense than they think they have here in a player like this. So I think if he gets the right coaching, we're talking about coaching and developing a guy again, he probably can round out to be a more efficient player that could probably live in your top 6. I'm trying to think of a good comparison. Who's the small Swede that was in Nashville forever?
Oh no! Now I'm thinking.
I can't remember his name.
Not Forsberg.
No. Just I can't remember his name. We're gonna have to come back to it. But a guy who can skate.
Nat Don McKelly.
No, it was not Don McKelly. Yeah,
sorry.
But a bit of a project player, but a guy who can already skate. So one big thing that you can't really teach, you can help improve on, but you can't really teach is already there. And so there's a good chance for them to work with the rest of it.
It's funny that you picked him to go to the Rangers because on the very next pick before in Dallas, that's where I had Nikita Chebrikov. You don't know this. Like I've been kind of playing coy here. I watched some KHL games. I went online and
Do you have DAZN?
Yeah.
Well, you don't even have to go online. You can just watch DAZN.
I just forgot my password.
Okay.
So I've been watching. I checked out a few of his games from this past season.
It's probably poo pudding.
Touche. And what I noticed is that I loved his rink-wide stretch passes and that he wasn't afraid to force defenders match his speeds. He's like the forward version of Heiskanen. basically.
Except he's Russian.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. I mean, I get it.
Again, This is from ontheforecheck.com. These are not my own ratings, but I'm making a comparison. And wouldn't that be great if I was right? So the Dallas Stars, they're going to go a pick earlier, so they're not going to get him in New York.
But you're not just reading the ratings list from them word for word. You've gone through this scouting report and you've selected guys on where you think they're going to fall. So
like I said, I'm being a bit of an idiot here. But at the same time, I'm also looking at what these guys have been based on what they've got as a write-up. I'm going based on what I believe that player is. So like. I could be totally off.
Nikita Trubakov to the Dallas Stars.
That's correct, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have the Dallas Stars selecting out of Karpat, Finnish Elite League, Aatu Ratu.
Wait, the last Ratu, there's a Y at the end.
Yeah, I know. That's just how you pronounce it.
Huh. That alone, I'm interested.
Yeah, so already like he looks like a physically mature guy. I don't know what he looks like, if he's got work to do, but he's weighing in at 185. He's already 6'2". He's like one of those sort of classic Finns, right?
Brent just popped in. Hey, it's not July 1st. It's Ryan's mustache. You know what? We're vaccinated. It's fine.
Yeah, it's all good. Really high-end playmaker already. So he's already got a great shot. He's already got a solid two-way game.
Okay.
But he's a gamble. So he's already spent time playing in the men's Finnish Elite League, and he hasn't done much. Now, that league is pretty notorious for playing its vets and guys getting, I wouldn't say the Podkolzin treatment where they're just like hated on by their coach, but they're looking at like between 8 and 12 minutes, probably playing on the third line, looking at like maybe 13 shifts a game or something like that. How much can you possibly get done in that amount of work?
And realistically, you're not going to be playing a guy that probably isn't going to be hanging around.
Yeah, and it's a defensively strong league. It's big ice. It's hard to create opportunities. But the size is there. The raw ability is there. Mm-hmm. And they could have themselves a really nice player. If you told me that he ended up being a similar player to what's his face, who's out in Edmonton that drafted got behind Laine.
Draisaitl?
No, not Draisaitl. The Finn. If you told me that he was going to end up in a similar format as that, and he looked like a 35-point player in the NHL, I would probably believe you. Like he's a guy that probably can put up points in this league, and he's got a bunch of raw skills, and he's probably going to go away and play for the World Junior team as well, and probably do something for them.
But that's where he's going to impress.
Right. We're not going to see the real Aatu Ratu in the men's Finnish Elite League.
No,
we just don't know what that is. Just like we don't know what Podkolzin is until he gets over here and actually starts playing with peers versus being tucked away under everything else.
He's shown flashes of brilliance over there. So
there you go.
So we're on to pick number 13. We're getting close to our.
We're gonna get to 11 and leave it. We'll do the top 10 for next week.
Next week, I like it. So we've got number 13 is in Philly. So
could really go for a Philly cheesesteak right now.
That would be delicious. And I can't remember if I picked this guy or not either from the U.S. development team. Another center. They probably could use another center in the next couple of years, I think. Chaz Lucius. The name alone.
Yeah, I don't like the name.
Here's the thing.
But I get it.
First and foremost, Gritty comes and announces that pick. He just holds up the sign and like welcomes him in. But high-end scoring, again, off of On the Forecheck. They say he's a high-end scoring stick handling talent, but much to be desired, can be effective at using his body to seal off opponents from the puck or force turnovers. Skating is a concern with inconsistent mechanics and average to below average NHL speed. Can pot nearly any rebound, but also score off the rush. So,
yeah, that's the thing about Chaz Lucius, right? I mean, the guy scores.
He scores goals.
He just scores.
But it's like boom or bust, basically.
Well, I don't even know if it's boom or bust. Like, he could just end up being... He probably has to live in your top 6. But, I mean, Andrew Brunette made a career of being a terrible skater that could score points.
That's true.
So, I don't know.
There you go. So, I'm maybe going on a limb and maybe gets a bad rap on that. But overall, Chaz and Gritty, it's going to happen.
All right. I have Philly taking Fedor Svechkov. We were joking around about his name last week. He dropped the "n" from his name.
Oh.
So he's not Svechnikov. He's just Fedor Svechkov.
Oh, I picked him.
You did. Yeah, I can't remember where you had him going.
I had him probably in the 20s.
Probably in the 20s. So strong two-way player. He's got it done at basically every level he's ever played at, including the World Junior Championship. He's got a high NHL floor. We've talked about this before. So when you're picking these guys, we feel like we know they're going to be pros, right? They're going to be, whether it's he's playing in the AHL. In this case, he's a Russian, so he's probably going to stay in Russia to do his thing. At best, he's probably contributing in your top 6 somewhere, low top 6. At worst, he can probably get it done as a valuable defensive forward. It's just whether or not sometimes these tweener guys.
Well, exactly. And how many of the look in Vancouver? Great example. How many of these tweener guys have existed for the Canucks?
Well, not only just for the Canucks in that roster, but how many of these tweener guys that are Russian can make a better living staying in Russia?
Tax-free.
Right? You can stay in Russia and plod along as a middle 6 forward, or you can come to the NHL, make league minimum, and stay in the bottom 6. That's my concern with a guy like Fedor Svechkov.
I think it's either you're going for money or you're going for a trophy.
Yeah.
So, which is tough because I think you want to do both, but you can be pretty impressionable. Think like, well, I can stay home and make absolute bank.
And you're home.
And you're home.
Yeah. Exactly. Plus, the North America is weird. Like Russia is very plain, very.
We're not going to get.
So, moving on to Calgary, which is the next pick at 12. Funny, you should be talking about Chaz Lucius. That's who I have the Flames taking at 12.
No kidding. So he doesn't make it.
So, like you said, every year, United States National Team Development Program, standout.
Last year they had a monster year.
Yeah, like I said, all the guy that does is score goals. Not a great skater, but he always seems to find the soft spot on the ice. Right? He might have, in my opinion, the best shot in this class. And I'm taking everything into account, right? Release, accuracy, speed, the quickness in which he gets the shot off. He might have the best shot in this class.
So if he goes to Philly, like I said.
Yeah, it would make sense in Philly.
Interesting.
Huh. I would just prefer him go to Calgary because then he's not that fast and maybe we can handle him. Yeah, I don't know.
But if he's got the best shot.
I could see him going to Philly as well, and a guy like Svechkov going to Calgary, even though they don't have the greatest history of drafting Russians, and we'll go back all the way to Oleg Saprikin for stuff like that.
So we're getting into kind of the tough. I can't remember if I picked him because we're all over the place here. Did I pick Bill Stromgren yet?
No, Willie Stromgren.
So he's from Allsvenskan out in Modo. He plays for Modo. You may have heard of that team.
Peter Forsberg's team?
Peter Forsberg, Marcus Naslund with the 2 dots, the umlaut.
Umlaut?
The umlaut. Extremely impressive set of hands that he can control while moving with speed. So basically, he's a Swedish left winger. Dude can wheel. He can move. He's got great hands. Maybe he's like a Zetterberg, maybe.
Yeah, and I think I talked about Stromgren a little bit earlier. He's just a really...
Wait, Zetterberg's a center, though.
He's just a really nice skater. Like, He's fast, but like, you know how Quinn is fast? But like, he's just a great skater. He's kind of like...
just clean.
He's like that, right? Very smooth, right? It's pretty effortless when he's doing his thing out there.
So it's funny you mentioned Quinn. He uses good edge work to evade defenders, but acceleration isn't always great. So again, he's got to work to get to like a top speed, but at the same time, again, if you've got a guy that's fast, he doesn't have to be an absolute world burner. But you look at Calgary, look at Dylan Dubé. Another great example of a guy that, just enough speed, great hands, great shot. I
don't really think Dylan Dubé is that great.
You can leave now.
Like he's better than Cole Lind.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, well, but I think a lot of people would have said that anyway.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
I like Colden too, but Dylan Dubé is definitely a better player.
So you had Stromgren.
Bill Stromgren
going to
Calgary.
So
I'm looking at how some of these guys fell so far on this list because I do feel that they were closer to top 10 players.
Yeah,
but I guess this is one of those first rounds where anything's possible. Anything's possible.
Anything is possible.
Anything possible. Kevin Garnett.
Speaking of KG, I watched Stefan Marbury documentary on Netflix.
I thought you were going to say Hidden Gems.
And how he and KG were buddies,
right?
Even before they went to Minnesota.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like they played together at like, I don't know, whatever these challenge cups are back, like probably McDonald's and stuff like that.
Right. The All-American.
Like and one and all that stuff. Yeah. So they all did their thing out there.
Right.
And then I didn't really realize this at the time because I was quite young, but KG got his monster deal because he was dope.
Yeah.
And then that very next year, they said, now each team can only pay a guy a max salary.
So
Marbury, who was arguably just as valuable as KG, could only sign a deal that was like peanuts in comparison to what KG made. And it made this weird friction between them before.
Marbury, he's got a cool story too.
Yeah, because he left the NBA and he went and played in China for like the last 10 years.
And did the Starburys for like $25.
Yeah, $20 Starburys, which is because he's like, I want all kids to have access to good shoes. Because this is the Coney Island kid, right? Pretty cool. And if you go back and look at that draft, Marbury's draft, how good that draft was. We saw guys like Steve Nash go pretty late in the first round, right?
Oh, that was that draft.
Yeah, pretty unreal.
That was a pretty good draft. So we're getting there. So Calgary, you had Chaz Lucius going to Calgary.
Chaz Lucius to Calgary, yeah.
And our final pick of the night. Who's pick number 11?
Chicago.
Oh, jeez.
Chicago.
Who's 30th? Who is never going to make the NHL? That's who I think they're going to pick. No, I'm just kidding. I
know that you're not taking him, and I've already picked him earlier. I saw Matthew Coronado from the Chicago Steel ending up with the Chicago Blackhawks. A guy who I had Stevie or Detroit taking. Stevie, why? I
think they're going to go after, I hope I say his name right. I think they're going to go after the next Jonathan Toews from the Liga, Atu Ratu. That's where I'm taking him.
The next Jonathan Toews.
Yep. You heard it here first.
Yeah.
Like this is primarily a Blackhawks podcast. So we know a thing or two. What they've got him, good habits at the pro level, finding good positioning, chasing the puck, decent pace, but knee bend can improve at times. I don't even know how that makes it into a scouting report. Good puck handler, needs to improve foot speed. That can be his difference-making skill in the NHL. Decent shot, quick release, needs to be more proactive in responding to puck movement. So he's a bit of a mixed bag, but at the same time, again, like you're saying, low, what do you say? High floor?
High floor, low ceiling.
I like that. Good for Chicago.
But if you're calling him the next day, he's probably high floor, high ceiling.
Yeah. He's a diamond in the rough that they have to get at 11.
He's a real rough diamond.
Wouldn't that be neat?
I have the Chicago Blackhawks selecting your boy, Cole Sillinger.
Hey, I picked him already.
Yeah, you did. I think he went late. I think he's going to go way earlier than that. And I think he's going to very good chance that he could end up in Chicago. So we've already talked about it. Guy's a gym rat, NHL bloodlines. Papa Mike played for 18 seasons.
And 18 teams.
And half the league.
Yeah.
Played for 43 NHL teams.
Give or take.
He's already built like a pro. Like this guy is a jacked brick shit house.
Okay.
So he can get out there, be a difference maker. Tough dude, can apply himself physically.
Funny story.
And he's got hands.
I think yesterday was Mike Sillinger's birthday.
Oh, was it really?
I think so.
Oh,
it was either yesterday or today. I can't remember. Just random side note. Sorry.
No worries. He's already got that pro release. And I think that this guy would be a perfect fit for him to end up in Chicago.
Interesting.
Yeah, maybe I don't know what he is. I don't know what he is exactly. But he went to
6 feet 190. So
yeah, he went to the USHL, played for Sioux Falls, and tore it up in a pretty limited amount of games.
Didn't Toews play for Sioux Falls?
I don't know if he played for Sioux Falls.
No, he played for
North Dakota.
Yeah, why do I feel he's played for? I don't know. We'll just say he did. Makes this show way more interesting. So. Okay, so that puts us to the top 10. That'll be next week.
Yeah, we can say that the next pick is Arizona, and they're dumb and they don't get a pick.
They don't get a pick. So Ottawa is next week.
So renounce the rights to 2020 4th round draft pick Mitchell Miller. Seems like a bad person. Arizona Coyotes for violating the NHL's combine testing policy. The team will forfeit the 2020 second-round draft pick along with their 2021 first-round draft pick. I love it.
Bad news bears. So,
well,
folks,
play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Well, yeah. Try to be the NHL's poster boy, and you end up being on a poster. Did I play that right?
I think you did great.
I think I did well. Yeah. So this has been a lot of fun. This has been good. We're not cooking by any means. This is basically the best place you could possibly be today.
Yeah, this worked out.
This is nice and cool in here. Nobody's sweating. It's perfect.
The top of my head is actually cold.
Thank you for the cold beer as well. That worked out well.
Yeah.
These are talismans. They're great. Just a beauty, an absolute beauty of a beer. I love it.
Strange fellows.
It's been good. So again, this is the final week to vote for our summer skates. I think the black ones are going to win. That's my prediction.
Yeah, I agree.
I think if I was going to put a wager, I think it's going to be the black ones.
Somebody in the comments, and I don't want to sway too far one way or the other, somebody in the comments made a good point about how it's more difficult to read the white on the black tab than it is to read the black on the white tab.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I don't know. Maybe our eyes are just conditioned to look like that.
Because like I've got the white ones, I can read just fine.
Yeah.
I don't know. They're good. This has been fun. As always, folks, follow us. Vote. We're out there. Check us out. Follow us. Follow Brady. He's not here today because he's smart. He's trying to stay cool. And I'm not going to lie. I have a house. I have an air conditioner. So I'm going to exploit that to the umpteenth degree and enjoy that. Sleeping is going to suck most likely, but we'll be fine. So any final words? You're good?
No, man. I'm camping this weekend too.
Nice. Where are you guys going?
I'm taking...
You're going to like Mabel Lake or something.
Yeah. No, we're going to Watchan Lake.
Close enough.
Yeah, towards like Nikusp.
Mabel.
So it's going to be up through the Monashee Mountains. So it should be a few ticks cooler up there.
Good luck.
Yeah.
I wish you luck. On behalf of Ted, I'm Ryan. This is the PP1 Podcast. Peace out.
Peace.